the previous lecture, we saw MapReduce programming model for data-intensive computing. In this lecture, we'll discuss about MapReduce for clustering big data. In the recent years, there has been an exponential growth in both structured and unstructured data generated by information technology, industry, healthcare, and many other systems. So, for example, the healthcare data which is collected in electronic health record systems is an example of big data. Stock market data, data which is generated by social networks, which includes images, audio, video. So this all fall under the category of big data. So let us formally define what is big data. Big data is a collection of data set whose volume, velocity, in terms of time, variation, or variety is so large that it is difficult to store, manage, process, and analyze. So the underlying characteristics of big data are volume, velocity, and variety. So let us see what is a volume. So there is no fixed threshold for the volume of the data to be considered as big data. However, typically the term big data is used for massive scale data that is difficult to store, manage, process using traditional database and data processing architectures. Velocity is the primary reason for the growth, exponential growth of data. So it refers to how fast the data is generated. Variety, it refers to the forms of data. So big data comes in different forms such as structured or unstructured data, which includes text, data, images, audio, video, sensor data, and so on. So basically, if you see that big data analytics is enabled by several technologies such as cloud computing, distributed parallel processing framework, in-memory database, etc. So in this lecture, we'll be focusing on clustering of big data using MapReduce algorithm. So what is a clustering? Clustering is a process of grouping similar items such that data items more similar to each other are put in one cluster. So basically, one cluster, it contains similar type of data items. Clustering algorithms can be parallelized using MapReduce. So let us first look at the classification of clustering algorithms. They can be classified into two main categories. First being a single machine clustering technique in which the algorithms run on a single machine, on one machine, and therefore they can utilize only the resources of that machine. On the other hand, multi-machine clustering technique, the algorithms can run on several machines and therefore it has access to more resources. So the type of the techniques which fall under single machine systems are first is sample based technique. So these are sampling based technique. So basically they are called sampling based technique because instead of performing clustering on the whole data set, what it does is it performs clustering algorithm on a sample of the data set and then generalizes it to whole data set. This definitely speeds up the algorithm because computation now needs to take place for a smaller number of instances. And therefore the complexity also decreases and memory space needed for the processes also decreases. Next is dimension reducing technique. If the data dimension of the data is higher, that means more will be the complexity and this would mean more will be the execution time. So sampling techniques reduce the data set size, but they do not offer any solution for high dimension data sets. So in dimension reduction technique, the data set from let's say a D dimension is reduced to a lower dimension space before processing, before clustering. Multi-machine clustering algorithms are divided into two main categories. Unautomated distributing, that is the parallel clustering, and automated distributing, that is a MapReduce based clustering. So in parallel clustering, the developers they face challenges not just because of parallel clustering challenges, but also they have to deal with the data distribution process between the different machines which are available in the network. So basically, this is very time consuming and complicated process. On the other hand, MapReduce provides a solution to this with the concepts such as load balancing, data distribution, fault tolerance, etc. So this figure shows the technique that allows breakdown of a huge amount of data into smaller pieces. These smaller pieces of data can be loaded and processed to solve huge problems. So there's a job distribution. Once it is done, the result is collected by the machine. So we'll be focusing on multi-machine clustering technique, more precisely on map-reduced based clustering technique. So let us now look at a popular clustering algorithm, which is k-mean clustering. So k-mean is a clustering algorithm that groups data into k clusters, where k is user defined. So in every cluster there is a centroid point. All the points in the cluster are closer to their centroid as compared to the centroids of the neighboring cluster. There are various distance measures that can be used for clustering algorithm. Let us look at two of them here. First and very commonly used distance measure is Euclidean distance measure. So it measures the distance between 2 points in an n-dimensional space using this formula. Another popular distance measure is cosine distance measure. This comes from the definition of inner product, of AB, which is defined as a norm of A, norm of B cos theta. So distance is cos theta, which is then given as inner product divided by inner product of A and B divided by their individual norms. So let us look at k-mean clustering algorithm. So this A shows the data points. In B, two centroids are chosen randomly. So it is shown by red cross and blue cross. Now the distance of all the points is measured from both these crosses, and then it is clustered along with that centroid to which it is closer. So that results in C. So that means for every point, so for example, this blue point, the distance has been measured with respect to blue cross and then red cross. Since it is closer to blue, this is in cluster of this blue cross. So this a new mean of this will be calculated. If the mean comes out to be at this point, again the mean of the cluster is calculated here, and the mean comes here. Now the same process is repeated iteratively till there is no change. There is not much difference in the movement of centroids after that. So basically, so this is the final result where the clusters have now been formed, where this is the centroid of this cluster and this is the centroid of blue cluster. So k-mean clustering begins with a set of k centroid points which are either randomly chosen from the data set or chosen using some initializing algorithm such as canopy clustering. So in the example which we saw, k was 2. So we had initially 2 centroids which are chosen randomly. The algorithm proceeds by finding the distance between each data point in the data set and the centroids point. Based on the distance measure, each data point is assigned to a cluster belonging to the closest centroid. In the next step, the centroids are recomputed by taking the mean value of all the data points in the cluster. And the process is repeated till the centroids no longer move more than a specified threshold. Now let us look at another example that clusters documents using a k-mean clustering algorithm. So, document clustering problem occurs in many big data applications such as finding similar new articles or finding similar patients using electronic health records, etc. Before applying K-mean algorithm for document clustering, the document needs to be vectorized. Since the documents they contain textual information, the process of vectorization is required for clustering documents. So let us look at the process of generating document vectors. The process of generating document vectors involves several steps. In the first step, a dictionary of all words used in tokenized record is generated. Each word in this dictionary has a dimension number assigned to it, which is used to represent the dimension or the word occupies in the document vector. Then the number of occurrences or term frequency of each word is computed. Inverse document frequency of each word is computed. So basically document frequency of a word is number of documents in which the word occurs. So basically in the third step, inverse document frequency is calculated. In the fourth step, the weight of each word is computed. The term weight is used in the document vector as the value of dimension I. Similarity between the document is computed using distance measure as Euclidean distance measure. Next, let us look at K-mean with MapReduce. So, the clustering implementation which we have talked about so far are performed in memory. That is, they are serial implementations. However, when data to be clustered is so big that it cannot fit into the memory of a single machine, then in-memory clustering is not possible. Therefore, MapReduce programming it can be used for parallelizing clustering algorithm. So let us look at this diagram. So this shows the parallel implementation of K-mean clustering with MapReduce. So as seen, the data to be clustered is on a distributed file system such as a Hadoop distributed file system and is split into blocks which are replicated across different nodes in the cluster. Clustering begins with an initial set of centroids and the client program, it controls the clustering process. In map phase, this is the map phase. In map phase, the distance between the data samples and the centroids are calculated and each sample is assigned to the nearest centroid. Whereas in the reduce phase, centroids are recomputed using the mean of all points in the cluster. Then the new centroids, they are fed back to the client, which checks whether convergence is reached or maximum number of iterations are completed. Convergence criteria used in K-mean is the difference between coordinates of the new centroid and the old centroid. If the moment of the centroid is below a specified threshold value, then convergence is achieved. So basically, if you see, this is an iterative process in which the K-mean has been applied. So this map phase will keep on calculating it keeps on calculating the distance and making clusters, whereas reduce phase recomputes the centroid which are fed back, and the client phase decides whether more number of iterations are required or not based on the convergence, or if the maximum iterations have been reached, then this iterative process would be stopped. So let us go through these points. The data to be clustered is distributed on distributed file system like a Hadoop file system, and split into blocks which are replicated across different nodes in the cluster. So the clustering begins with an initial set of centroid. The client program controls the clustering process. In the map phase, distance between the data sample and centroids are calculated and each sample is assigned to the nearest centroid. In the reduce phase, centroids are recomputed using the mean of all the points in each cluster. The new centroids are then fed back to the client, which checks whether the convergence is reached or the maximum number of iterations have been completed. So in this lecture, we saw what is the definition of big data, and we also defined its characteristics, volume, velocity, and variety. Then we also saw k-mean, which is a clustering algorithm that groups data items into k-cluster. And we saw that this algorithm can be parallelized using MapReduce. Thank you.